So here we have Joe Biden being sworn in today as the 46th president of the United States. It's time to take a look at some SPACs that could benefit from Biden and his new policies and focus areas. So back on election day, I discussed 7 SPACs to watch. Those were RIDE, RIDE, SBE, FSR, FVAC, which is MP now, DMYT, which is RSI, IPOC, which is CLOV, and PIC, which is XL. So I picked those because of the story. So it was electric vehicles, some gambling ones, because we also had that on the ballot. So these were all related to the election, and they all ended up being winners from when I called those out on election day. So, not that I'm going to be right in every case, but if you look at the story, look at the catalyst, a lot of times you can get these SPACs before they start moving, or moving higher in the case of some of these announced deals. For Biden SPACs, what I'm targeting first is charging infrastructure. So 3 names to watch there are SBE, TPGY, and NBAC. So Biden's calling for 500,000 charging stations, and that's a key in the continued adoption of electric vehicles. So I own shares of SBE, which is merging with ChargePoint. And then I'm also watching TPGY, which is the European charging play that could quickly grow in the US. And then NBAC merging with Nuvve, which has vehicle to grid technology. So that's 3 plays. Again, they already have announced deals, so they are trading at premiums. But I really think charging infrastructure is going to be one of the keys going forward. And Biden is going to continue to talk about that, and you're going to see these SPACs move on news. And the next story for me is electric buses. So for this, we have NGA and ACTC. So Biden's talked very vocally about adding electric buses, going to zero emissions. For that reason, I own shares of NGA merging with Lion Electric. And I also think ACTC, which recently announced their merger with Proterra, should be watched as well. Remember, ACTC was one of our earlier Biden picks in December. They have Audrey Lee as a member of the team. She was the co-chair of the Clean Energy for Biden organization. So that's definitely something to watch. That could be a benefit to that deal with that relationship with Biden. So electric buses, again, second story for me. And then looking at just some SPACs that have sustainability or clean energy, as their focus. I have a couple that I've been watching recently. So up first, we have PDAC. So this is Peridot Acquisition. I talked about this one connected possibly to that Chamath pipe. So the team includes former Centerpoint Energy CEO and then Jonathan Silver. So Jonathan Silver is a director for Plug Power and National Grid. He also served as the executive director of loan programs for the Obama administration, leading the government's $40 billion clean energy efforts. So PDAC, definitely one to watch in that sustainability field. And they do have some connections to the Obama administration, which, as we know, President Joe Biden served as vice president under that administration. So there could be a connection there. Then we have SV. So this is Spring Valley. This is a newer one on my watch list. So they're targeting sustainability, clean energy and storage, smart grid, environmental services and recycling, mobility, and water/wastewater management. So all key areas of focus in that clean energy and sustainability, field, which again, to me, is one of the biggest stories going forward. Another one to watch is SOAC. So this is Sustainable Opportunities Acquisition Corp. They have an ESG target, and they've said that they want to get a deal completed in 2021. I am now long shares of SOAC. This was a recent buy for me. I think they're going to complete a deal sooner than later. They have started picking up on some chatter on Twitter and elsewhere that a deal could be close. And given that they are targeting, sustainability, I think this is one that could move on that deal announcement. Then we have FSR, so Fisker. This is another one that I own. It's a favorite play here for me in the electric vehicle space. Biden is all in on electric vehicles. Fisker's targeting a rollout of electric vehicles in late 2020 or 2021. They'll be only the second, US-based pure play electric vehicle company behind Tesla. We could see tax credits and cash for clunkers extended to electric vehicles this year, which helps a company like Fisker going forward. I think that's a big story with the Biden administration. Other EV names that I'm watching also include Hyliion, HYLN, GIK, which is Lightning eMotors, XL, and RIDE. I am long shares of HYLN and GIK. Then another area I want to look more into into is solar. So we have ALAC, which is merging with SolarMax. Solar could be a big story for the Biden administration. I'm also a fan of the Array Technologies, which was an IPO earlier this year, ARRY. That is not a SPAC, but a solar name that I like. Then we have PIPP. So this is Pine Island Acquisition. This is one we called out in December, again, as a Biden play, direct ties to Biden. So this SPAC, PIPP, has 4 former senators, the former minority leader, and former undersecretary of defense for policy under Barack Obama. The team also has Tony Blinken and General Lloyd Austin, who are Biden's picks for Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense. So again, both are expected to step down if sworn in, but the connections here are huge on this one to the Biden administration. So we might not get a clean energy play. It might be more of a government or defense company. But again, talking Biden SPACs, PIPP has to be on the list, with those ties there. And then another one that I'm watching is SNPR, which is the same team that brought Helion public. So I'm keeping an eye on that one as well. So for me, the story here is playing the existing electric vehicle SPACs and charging names, and then looking for SPACs that are targeting sustainability and clean energy. So with these EV names, you're going to pay a little bit of a premium because we already have deals closed or we have pending deals. But the long-term story for EVs is not over. It's just beginning. The Biden administration, again, is all in on electric vehicles. And that was the big story in 2020, but it's going to continue going forward. But for me, one of the bigger stories is clean energy and sustainability. We haven't seen as many of these names go public via SPAC, but I think that changes in 2021. So I'm going to be doing more and more research on clean energy and sustainability focused SPACs with great management teams and bringing them to you guys on the show. But those were a couple of the ones that I'm really watching today.